Okay, so all we're changing for this lesson compared to yesterday is yesterday you had 2 points and you had to find the slope and then graph and then tell me stuff. Today you have already the slope and you are given a point and they want you to tell me the y-intercept. So again, I think you guys will be faster. 7th grade, hush. So under example 1, they want you to tell me write an equation of the line with the given slope that passes through the given point. So first they tell you that m equals 2/3. What is m?
Y?
No, what is m? What does m represent? This is, okay, what's the slope of a line?
Oh, y equals mx plus
Y mx plus b.
What is m?
slope.
There we go.
Slope.
I forgot.
It's all right. So when you see m here, know that that's the slope. Okay, and then they gave you a point, and we have to solve for b.
Just have a question.
I have an answer.
Why don't you switch them? Can you change the y mx plus b to y s x plus the s to stand for slope and
They don't do that because if I write an s and I get real sloppy, it starts to look like a 5. So then instead of it looking like mx, it looks like 5x, and people will think it's already solved. That's why they picked m, because it's definitely an m. It's not a number. Good question, though. Slope.
makes no sense.
It just needs to be there. They just what they picked. Yep, but it's better than an S because S's can look like 5s. M's can't look like any number. They're just there.
1 stick, 3 sticks.
Okay, so once they have given you the slope and a point on the graph, you can graph it, which you see I have given you the picture here. So what they did is they took one of the points, -6, 1, you see it right here, they graphed it. And then they did the slope. So we went up 2 over 3 and put another point. Up 2 over 3, put another point. And then they connected all 3 dots with a line. And they're asking, the question they want you to answer is, what is the y-intercept? So where does it cross the y line?
5.
At 5. So my equation would be y equals, we know the slope,
2, 3 over 2.
2/3. And then we know it crosses at +5, so you say +5. And they want the equation, not just the y-intercept, but what we had to solve for was the y-intercept. So that would be the answer. Now, I would like to show you how to solve this without graphing it. Okay, this is not in your book. It's just bonus by Mrs. Cease. You got this, so I can move on? Okay, cool. So I gave you the slope equals 2/3. And they gave you a point is -6, 1. Okay, so our equation, y equals, we know the slope, we do not know b. We're solving for b. In order to solve for b, I have to plug in an x and a y. Well, I have an x and a y right here, don't I? So let's plug these in. So I would put the y is 1 equals 2/3 times my x is -6. And then you say plus b. What's -6 times 2/3? Calculator, go. Well, it'd be -12 divided by 3 would be -4. So -4 plus b.
Destroy the calculator.
So then I add 4. So then 5 equals b. Is that what we got by graphing it a minute ago?
Yes.
Yeah, we got 5. So there are ways to solve this without graphing if you just like graphing like I do. Okay, this is solving it mathematically. So the key is here, if you have the slope and a point, you plug the slope in in your y equals mx plus b, and then you plug in x and y. Y goes here, x goes here, then you can solve for b. Not too bad, right?
Yes.
Let's do another one. This is b from example 1. We know the slope is -3. And we know one of the points is 1, -4. Okay, again, they graphed it. Do you want to graph it or do you want to solve it mathematically?
Solve it mathematically.
Mathematically, I like that better. So we have our equation is y equals mx plus b. This is the equation you use over and over and over, guys. So we know the slope is what?
The slope is -3.
Okay, what's y?
-4.
And what's x?
The 1.
Beautiful. So I have -4 equals, what's -3 times 1? Still -3. So then to move the 3, I add it. What's -4 plus 3? -1, right?
Yes.
So do I have my answer to b? So now I can rewrite the whole equation, putting my slope in and my b in. Now, could we have found that graphing it? Absolutely. Was it much faster to solve it mathematically?
Yes.
Much faster. Any questions? If I'm going too fast, you holler. I will slow down. I have no problems. Good? Okay. Grab your piece of paper. Number 1. Write the equation of a line when given the slope that passes through the given point. So they tell you that m equals 1 and you have a 0.2 comma 0. You want to graph it or mathematical? I have converted you all. Yay! So this is x, this is y. So I'm going to say 0 equals, my slope is 1, my x is 2, and I'm solving for b. What is 1 times 2?
2.
So now to get the b by itself, I have to move the 2. It's a positive 2. How do I move it?
Subtract.
Very good. So I get -2 equals b. So the last, you got to write the equation. What's my slope? What's my slope? It's 1.
Oh.
And then I say -2. -2 is the y-intercept. It goes at the end of the equation. Did I have to write the 1 there in front of the x?
No.
No, because when you're dealing with slope, there's an imaginary 1 in front of x all the time. Is it wrong to write the 1?
No.
No, totally fine. Whatever helps your brain. So remember, this is the answer I'm looking for. If you just finished here and circle that, you're not going to get full credit because all you did was solve for b, but I want the whole equation. Everybody got it? Just about, no problem? Gives me a chance to sip my coffee. All right, let's do on number 2. M equals -1/2. What is m?
Slope.
The slope.
You're like, Miss Cease, why do you keep asking us? Because you didn't know it. What's the equation I'm using?
Y equals mx.
Very good.
Same one you always use.
Okay, smart aleck. All right, so 3 equals, what's my slope? What's my x?
2.
Yup. Plus b. What is -1/2 times 2? Negative times a negative is a positive. 1/2 times 1/2 would be?
Yeah, it's -1 though, right?
Wait, repeat the question again.
-1/2 times 2.
-1/2.
You're right, it is a negative. Because it's 1 negative times a positive. So it's -1
-1
plus b. So how do I move the -1?
You add.
Yep.
+1.
So I get
4.
4 equals b. Am I done?
No.
Y equals what?
Y
-1
equals
-1/2.
x
Plus.
plus 4.
Yes. Good job, guys.
Go.
Beautiful. Good?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there are times they teach this in a weird order. I'm like, I would have already taught them that.
See, you would have.
I need to make my own textbook.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Seuss math.
Yeah.
I gotta get my doctorate.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
He's 2.0 then.
That's right, Dr. Seuss 2.0. You don't need to know all this other stuff. All right, example 2, put this in your journals, real life application. You finish parasailing, woohoo, and are being pulled back to the boat. After 2 seconds, you are 25 feet above the boat. A is write an equation that represents the height in feet above the boat after X number of seconds. And B, at what height were you parasailing? And C, when did you reach the boat? So we have 3 different answers for this equation, for this assignment. Okay, now let's go back to the very first couple sentences. It tells us after 2 seconds, you are 25 feet above the boat. And you see over here, it tells us 10 feet per second. So if I'm being pulled back to the boat at 10 feet per second, what part of our equation do you think this 10 feet per second stands for? What do you think?
Slope.
Slope, because this is the rate of change. Slope is your rate of change. Everywhere you go, that's how fast it's changing, up or down. Now, am I going up or down on this 10 feet per second?
You're going down.
So then we know what m is, don't we?
-10.
Negative 10. Okay, now do I have a point?
10.
Read that sentence. After 2 seconds, you are 25 feet above the boat.
25 feet.
So I have a point here, right? I'd have 2, 25.
Yes.
So now can I find my equation?
Yes.
Yes, because I have the slope and a point. So I'm going to say 25 equals -10 times 2 plus b. So what's -10 times 2?
-20.
And then how do I move the -20? Very good. So that would be 45 equals b. So my equation that they asked for is y equals -10x plus 45. So that's for A, when it comes to our parts that they want to know. B asks, what does B ask? At what height were you parasailing? So out of this equation, it tells us where we started. Which number tells us where we started?
45 feet.
45 feet. So for B, we just have to answer 45 feet is where I started before they started pulling.
That's all.
That's it. Okay, and then the last part asks, when do you reach the boat? So we have our equation, y equals -10x plus 45. -10 is talking about the rate of change. What do you think the x and y are each talking about? If I were to graph this, okay, this is the x line, this is the y line. Y is doing we start up here at 45, okay? The x over here is one, two, three, four, 5. So what do you think x is talking about? The y is talking about 45 what? Feet. So what do you think the 1, 2, 3 over here talks about?
Seconds.
The second.
Seconds, very good. So this is the time. Well, they want to know when do you reach the boat? So if I'm being pulled from 45 feet, when am I going to be done being pulled? When I hit 0, right?
0, yeah.
I want to stop at 0 feet. So if I plug in a 0 for the feet portion, which is y, can I solve for how long it's going to take me, which is x? The answer is yes.
Yes.
So we're going to put 0 where that y is and solve, and that'll tell us how many seconds it took to pull me in. Say 0 equals -10x plus 45. So, solving for x, I need to move the 45 first. What do I do? So I have negative 45 equals negative 10. Whoa, I'm having issues. Let's try that.
That's a beautiful thing.
I was rough. Negative 10x. Now, how do I get the negative 10 away from the x?
You add.
You divide, because a number next to a letter means multiply. It's okay. It takes practice. Don't feel bad. What is negative divided by a negative is a? Which is good, because you can't have negative seconds. What is 45 divided by 10?
They use you. 4.5.
4.5. So how long did it take them to pull me back into the boat?
4.5 seconds.
That's pretty quick, actually. So there's your answer for C.
Have you ever done that, Miss?
No, I want to. Parasailing is fun. It's not that scary because the worst you go, 45 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet. It'll hurt a little if you fall, randomly out of the harness, but it wouldn't kill you, so.
Just break it. No, it's okay.
Well, I don't plan on falling sideways. I think it'd be fun. All right, so example 3, no, on your own 3, I'm sorry, put this in your paper. Keep your journal open. Keep your journal open because it's changing example 2. Shh, Anthony. Okay, so this is on your own number 3, but you need your journals. In example 2, which we just did, you are 35 feet above the boat after 2 seconds. So they're changing our point that we had. What was our slope that we had?
40.
Slope?
Oh, 10. Negative 10.
And they're changing the point. After 2 seconds, instead of being at 45, we're actually at 35.
Yes.
So now it wants to know when do you reach the boat. So the first thing we need to do is solve to get our equation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is x, this is y, so I can say 35 equals negative 10 times 2 plus b. So negative 10 times 2 is negative 20. To get the b by itself, I have to move the 20. So I get 55, right? Equals
Yes.
b. Just make sure I'm not crazy. So our new equation is y equals negative 10x plus 55. Now, how do I solve for how long it took them to pull me in?
Divide, right?
We just did it on the last.
Substitute y for 0.
Make y a 0 because 0 would be when they've pulled me all the way to the boat. I'm at 0 feet. So I'm going to say 0 equals negative 10 x plus 55. So first thing I need to do is move the 55. What do I do? Very good. So minus 55. So I get negative 55 equals negative 10x. To get the negative 10 away from the x, what do I do? So divide by negative 10. So I get x equals, what's 55 divided by 10?
5.5.
5.5, label? Seconds. So it took them 5.5 seconds because I was 10 feet higher. Haha, shocker. All right. Any questions? All right, your assignment is to do exercises out of your book, numbers 3 through 11 and 16 through 18. No IXL today.